One of the most exciting parts of the project is day one, where you sit down with the architects, and we spent a lot of time actually thinking about the layout and what was the most sensible way of arranging which spaces should be placed next to which other spaces so that they would work well. And that wasn't straightforward. We went through probably 4 or 5 different versions of that, with the library moving, the theatre moving, circulation spaces moving around, until we came up with the plan as you see it today. We were already very lucky to be in a brand new building, which opened in 2010, but as student numbers have grown, as the Academy's become more and more popular, we've started to struggle a little for space. And it became clear that the Academy, although it had some great facilities, was missing a few things. So it was missing the space it needed for the big core subject areas to grow into as the Academy grew. It was also missing a really nice performance space, and a space where students could come and have more formal assemblies as well. So that was a priority for us moving forwards.
The theatre is an all singing, all dancing theatre. It's unbelievable. The sort of facilities that the school are going to gain is absolutely amazing. So, you know, and unheard of probably for most schools. So it's a great space. The school comprises of 2 floors, so that it's linked on both sides. Basically, just syncs everything together. It's been a great job to work on, to be honest. The school have been really good to work with, really involved in it. They've been over every few weeks. The teachers have been over, just deciding on things, changing a few bits and pieces, and making decisions as we go. And it's been great. You know, the school head, Steve Bryce, has been a great guy to work with.
I was on site as early as some of the first groundworks were happening and the steel frame was going in, and then probably did a site tour and met with the contractors on a weekly basis, and we would do site walks and then sit down, reflect on what happened, and let some of the finer sort of elements of the design evolve as that process went on.
It's been good actually, it's been really good, because I think there's been some great engagement with the school and the client team. And that's always really important for us as the builder, you know, to make sure we deliver an excellent project. Building projects like this is difficult, you know, and unless you've got everybody working together, because there's always problems, and unless you've got everybody working together to try and resolve those problems, then it can become difficult. But thankfully that hasn't happened here.
I suppose the most challenging thing was the link between the 2 buildings because of the difference in levels. The sport tour, we basically had to cut back the existing roof and the foyer area, and obviously that got its own challenges of, you know, water ingress, so we had to make sure that we sealed the existing building so the school could keep using the sport tour whilst we were constructing a new build, as it were. So that was the most challenging section of it, really, cutting it all back and making it all work. Obviously when you start cutting things back, you find things and you have to sort of think on your feet to try and work out solutions and with everybody, and you know, it's worked well, to be fair. It has come together.
The most challenging thing is that we have really huge ambition for what we want to achieve, and invariably we want more than funds ultimately allow. So I think the challenge in this and the knack in this has been finding a way with all of the other professional agencies to find a way of getting as much of the things that we wanted, whether it's to do with the classroom spaces, the circulation spaces, the lighting, the cooling, the theatre space, to find a way of making that affordable but still to maintain a really high quality finish, and that's probably been the biggest challenge.
The real great thing for us, I think, or certainly for me personally, about building a school is what you end up with, and actually seeing the building being put into use. And I suppose that's the key really with a school, is to make sure that when we walk away, the school are left with something that's functional, that is useful and sort of improves the teaching for everybody that's using it.
This morning, half of Year 7 came into the building for the first time. And as they walked through, you could see the look of awe and surprise on their face as they were passing by huge new spaces they'd never been in before, passing by a climbing wall, which is a facility the Academy hasn't had on site before, and then through the doors into a theatre space, which is something, again, we haven't had before. And so it was one look of surprise and shock and awe after another, and they've only seen a small part of the building. They're yet to go and explore the rest.
I think the teaching space, you know, for the teachers, my wife's a teacher herself and I think she'd love the space. The art rooms, my wife's an art teacher, and the art space are amazing. They're really big classrooms there, and it's just there's all roof lights, lots of light coming in, you know, natural light coming into the building, very large windows, so it's just a really nice atmosphere to work in.
I think the new building has great facilities for students because it has great spaces, it's really big, and the new equipment is very, very useful for students. It will make their learning much easier.
I think it's going to be more interesting to see how this is going to affect everyone's learning, and I think it's going to have a positive effect on everyone.
I am absolutely bowled over. It's like Christmas every day. We have state-of-the-art technology. Above me is a tensile steel grid, which is what you get in the best West End theatres, and it is phenomenal. In other words, you can just forget the ladders, you know, your portable ladders, up you go on the fixed ladders at the sides, and you can alter your lights up there in complete safety. It's wonderful. I've even thought of actually putting a mattress there, but don't tell Mr. Bryce because there might be health and safety things, but you know, I just don't want to go home. It's remarkable. But I'm partly stood on the stage and partly stood on something that could be sunk down to become an orchestra pit, or we could have the seats going down and the audience going down. We're going to have a capacity for 313 people here, which is absolutely remarkable.
I think the theatre in general is just great because there's just more equipment, and I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to learn.
Now that we have a bigger theatre, then we might have more school productions, which gives students a lot more chances to express themselves and enjoy after-school activities.
It's a sense of accomplishment, basically. You know, when you finish the job and you can see it from just a field to a new build, it's a great achievement, basically. You know, and the team have worked well, and it's been a really good job to work on.
My favourite thing is about how the site will operate as a whole once we finish the refurb work in the summer, because I think for the first time we will have been able to spread out properly. We will have been able to give each of the subject areas, the departments, the space they need to move in and really make their areas an exciting, stimulating place to learn. So I think we will end up in September with a site new build and current build after the refurb programme. I fundamentally think that the students of the Academy deserve the best, and I think between us all we've managed to build the best.